Hello, this is another Incredibots machine, and it's a Rube Goldberg machine. And in our little sequence here, our little white ball here has two friends, a green ball and a blue ball, that need to find their way home. They live in these small little red boxes. So he's going to go on a perilous, dangerous, and trepidatious journey to save them. And let's see what happens. Does a jump into a gondola. It's pretty cool. Oh, has the gondola crashed? Nope, it's going on. And a lot of this stuff is very hard to time, like getting that to jump them up, and the timing gets more crazy as it goes on. But it took me probably about 4 hours, 5 hours to make only a minute's worth of content. But yeah, there's a little green ball. We push it down in there. Like, the timing on the jump that just happened in this part took me a long time. We go up and back into another gondola. So we've gotten the green ball home into his little red box house. Now we're gonna get this little blue guy to go home. Don't worry, we'll catch up with him pretty soon. We just need this to produce enough wobble on us so we can catch ourselves, which you'll see in a moment. There we go. Hey, we did a flip. We see him go home. And then we return home with our other ball friends. So I'm going to go through it again. I'm going to zoom out a bit more so you can see how things might be interacting with each other better and more stuff that's going on. Because the timing on some of this stuff is actually pretty insane. So we're going to go down in the gondola, and the first problem I ran into was right here. The ball was going out the front, so I built the chair in such a way that this little one would smush against the ball and push it back so it wouldn't fly out anymore. And even that within itself took like 30 minutes to line that up perfectly. We'll continue on, going down. That was pretty easy. We just stopped the gondola and knocked it down so the ball could continue on without having its momentum hindered. So there's 3 things that I want to talk about here. First one is this, lining that up to catch me without bouncing me or like just launching me not high enough that I would be able to gain enough momentum for the jump, or too high that I would fly over the jump. Took me probably about 20 minutes or so, because you might just be like, oh, well, because these things are actually autonomic. I'm not pressing any keys to make them go, so I can't manually time it. I could do that, but then it wouldn't be a Rube Goldberg machine. Instead, I have to figure out how long one of its revolutions are and how many seconds it takes for me to get there. And then I used math to figure out, oh, so it's going to be down at this amount of seconds if I make it go this fast. And that's super hard to do because it's based off of the length of this, the width of this, the amount of momentum I have here, a bunch of stuff. But I did it. And to an even more extreme extent is this one over here. This motor is spinning super fast, just super duper fast, so I couldn't actually do the math to be like, oh, it's going to be here during this time, because I couldn't actually time it. So this one, I just had to keep trying, figuring out new ways that I could slow and raise the ball's momentum to try to time the ball more with that than time that with the ball. And that's actually what this thing is for. This is actually the perfect width across going down, that it's the same size as our ball here. If it was too big, it would have hit our ball like this. We would have lost too much momentum. We would have missed our time window for this. If it was too small, obviously the ball would hit it, bounce back, and then get launched around by that, go back that way, and probably roll off the edge. But having it be the perfect height actually slowed me down just enough. This is going to be hard to time. But I get caught perfectly by the little flicker here. I guess that's what I'll call it. And this jump is ginormous. We go flying. Then this didn't really have anything to it. I kind of just made a nozzle to point me in the general direction I needed to go, and then adjusted where this was to line up with the ball's path, other than the other way around, because it was the easier way to do it. But I really like this part, because we have two really cool interactions. First off, that green ball would have just landed here, and then rolled down super slowly, but instead the white ball runs into it to knock it down. And then they end up falling perfectly together. On the bounce, they separate a little bit, the green ball goes lower. That's also why I made this like a steeper angle to slow it down, so they would end up lining up again. And then here, this ball wouldn't actually go this way if it wasn't for the white ball. It's more on this side, so it'd roll down this way. But instead we come down and we squeeze our little friend, and he goes into his little thing. And this part is super interesting. Timing this one to launch me into this one, to get the perfect timing to launch me off this, to get a second launch up and ricochet me that way. That's probably what took me even longer than this upcoming one that I used 4 of them together. These two is basically the same thing. I just had to time it just right enough that it would send me launching up, because I was running out of space going towards the bottom, because this map doesn't go infinitely downwards. We're gonna zoom out 5 again. Actually, let's go into, there we go. And that gives us enough height that we can use gravity again to assist our momentum without going off the bottom of the screen. Here, this is pretty straightforward. We just knock the ball over, and then this produces enough wobble on us to be able to catch ourselves on this little thing that you can see poking out here. And I wanted to go slower than the ball, because, oh, I actually didn't show it. So when the other ball comes through, I don't know what that's about, but I'll check it afterwards. There is a tornado close to my home. Well, I'm gonna finish this recording, and then I'm gonna find out about that. But yeah, so we do a flip here. When that other ball comes through here, it actually comes through at the time that this is all the way down, so it just lands, rolls off, and goes on that track. And timing these two things was really, really difficult. But we see him go to his little house, and we're done. And the reason why I analyze that is for people who want to build Rube Goldberg machines of their own, you just need to understand that it's trial and error. I'm just going to let it play through while I'm talking, and I'll end it randomly, probably before it ends. But yeah, it's trial and error. I had to watch this thing, taking up more time than I actually spent working on it, to try to figure out exactly where I needed things to be, exactly the timing that I needed for different things. And the main thing is perseverance. Just keep trying, keep trying. Don't give up, because then you'll get it and it'll look awesome, like this part coming up where I use the same flicker thing twice. I love that part. And that took me a super long time. The more work you put into something, the more happy you'll be with your outcome. And that's it. So, see ya.